What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoyed the Scale News Update, hit the like button and let's jump into this week's topics. For those of you out there who are Losi Pro Moto owners, Proline just posted a teaser video up of one of the Pro Motos that you can clearly tell is rocking a paddle tire in the back. I can imagine that this will not be the easiest truck to run in the sand, but if you can get this thing to hook and you can rip it around in the sand with that paddle tire, it has to be a blast. It was a quick teaser. It was only posted on Instagram and it was just kind of in and out. Nothing too close, no details or anything else. That was it. But it was enough to get people excited. So if you've been itching for a paddle tire, not gonna have to wait that much longer. Hang around and we'll make sure and cover it as soon as it gets released here on the Scale News Update. Then Vanquish Products dropped a bunch of new products related to the VRD Carbon. The first is the Vanquish Stance Body. This is a comp style body with the super pinched front and dovetailed bed to this old school style truck body. Obviously the VRD Carbon was made with this body in mind, so everything fits perfectly in place. This is just a clear Lexan body when you purchase it. It's not trimmed and it doesn't have body holes pre-cut. So if you want to put this on any other high performance or comp style truck, you'll have to make your own body holes, and that's probably preferred for most of you, as your body post holes will not all be in the same position. So if you're looking for one of these, they dropped last week. I believe that the first batch may have already sold out, but more will be on the way very soon. But check your local dealer and distributors, as a lot of them would have went to those people, so you may still find it available in many places, or the second batch will be available shortly and you'll be able to get those directly at vanquishproducts.com, which I'll put a link to the product page below. And next, we've got the VFD Stubby Conversion Kit. Now, if you've watched any of the Vanquish Live on Tuesday streams, those have been happening every week, and this was shown on there previously. It was kind of previewed on there before the actual release. What this kit does is it allows you to install it onto a VFD transmission, and it will take and shorten the distance between the main portion of the transmission and the front motor plate. This reduces the overall length about 25 millimeters. When you do this, you are required to run like an outrunner type motor, something much shorter in overall length. But this will bring the motor tighter to the transmission. What that does is allows you a lot more room between the front of the transmission and the axle. And in this kit is a behind the axle servo mount. It actually takes the servo from on top of the axle and puts it behind and sideways, so it gets it as low as possible. Ideally, you would run this with a low profile servo, as then the servo will not be below the axle tube. But you can run it with a standard size servo. I've done that myself for quite some time. Now, this kit also made with the VRD in mind, as it comes with some front cross bracing, also the short portion of the skid plate that goes between the main portion up to the motor plate. Since that's a shorter distance, there's a new piece that drops in there to replace that. And then of course it comes with that servo mount, as well as any of the links that will be needed to drop that in. You'll want a standard servo, shorty is, or low profile is preferred, and you'll want a 24-25 millimeter servo horn to make everything function properly. More information is available on the product page. You can go there, see all of the details. Next, we've got a F10 axle aluminum behind the axle servo mount. Now, this is very similar to what we just discussed on the stubby conversion with that behind the axle mount, but that's a molded one. This one is aluminum and it'll work on any of the F10 axles, portals, or straight axles. This will allow that same positioning of the servo behind the axle, keeping everything nice and low and giving you a place for that upper fourth link, as you'll want to go to a 4-link versus a 3-link when running this. This is perfect for people who want to run like a custom build, a comp type truck, something that's maybe using a different style transmission, anything that you would like to just be able to put that servo tucked back there in place. This is available in clear anodized aluminum and black anodized aluminum. Available again for both the straight axles and the portals. Same part works for both. Again, if you're looking for more information, you can find it on the product page, which I've linked to below. And lastly, from Vanquish, we've got the CMS Conversion Kit for the VRD. This kit allows you to take your VRD Carbon and install this. What it'll give you is a place to mount your chassis mounted servo, as well as a winch if you like. It'll also include the machined aluminum panhard mount and the links needed to complete that steering setup and the panhard. Everything that you need is there in case you're going for those CMS points in a Sorka type event, or you just want something that is a little bit more scale in that way. Of course, you'll have to make sure that your body's clear and all of that when doing this type of thing. But this just gives you an easy solution to be able to click that and throw it into your VRD. Now, you will not be able to use the CMS conversion as well as the stubby. They're kind of conflicting with how some of the bracing works and the mounts for the front side of the transmission. So note that while you're at it, you're gonna have to choose one or the other. And although not from Vanquish, but for Vanquish, Brazen Scale released 2 new carbon fiber chassis options for that VRD. These 2 new options are called the Hardline and the Flatline. The Hardline is a modified version of the factory style chassis, maintaining the 6-degree skid plate angle, but changing up the suspension geometry a little bit, moving the shock mounting around, some other clearances here and there. You can check out all of the details on that one on the Brazen Scale page. The Flatline is if you want to take and do a C1 legal style build with that truck. It takes and removes the skid plate angle as isn't allowed in Class 1. Moves things around again, adjusts suspension geometry a little bit. These are both available now through Brazen Scale. They just released, but those are made in-house at Brazen, so basically on the website, ready to order right away. A couple weeks back, we talked about the DSM Off-Road Rock Warrior chassis that was being released for the Red Cat Ascent. This was previously just kind of a preview with it, but now full information and pre-order for this is available. They changed quite a bit to try and make the truck a little bit more user-friendly to be able to work on without having to remove quite so much. They also tried to incorporate as many of the previous features as possible, still allowing you to do the cab-only style mounting as well. You can go in there and see all the details. They also have some optional parts that are going to be available for it, like some high clearance sliders, things like that. You can check out the DSM off-road page for this. These are a pre-order currently. You can get on there, pre-order, and they'll ship as soon as that they become available at DSM. This is just something to help move that Ascent a little bit more towards that comp-ready style. For you Element Nightwalker owners, Night Customs just released their detail pack for that specific truck. You can go onto his My Mini Factory and purchase this pack, and then you can print all of your own detail and accessories for the Nightwalker. In this pack, for just 20 bucks, you get a full 3D printable interior, you get full front inner fenders, kind of half rear inner fenders, as well as a Toyota style grille and rear radiator mount, just kind of helping to complete the look of this, super detail it up. And again, just 20 bucks. Of course, you do have to print it yourself, but the price is super reasonable for all that you get to really transform that truck. This is sold to the Night Customs My Mini Factory, which again, a link to below. A company we don't hear about a lot, but TWWS had made a post with a handful of new products that they've got coming out. First of all, a little bit more information or photos on the THR. Now, this was a more high performance, high clearance style version of the TWS CTS platform. It's still a short wheelbase, it's still small tire, and it's still got the same drivetrain as the previous CTSs. TWS CTS VTR was their first one. They also have like a CJ style one that the name changed because at one point they called it the CJ7, but that name changed quite a while back. But now this THR, they showed the details or the name for it right on the post, but it's not listed as available or anything else like that yet. So we'll have to watch out for that. Again, everything appears to be the same underneath as before, which weren't super high performance trucks, but it would probably do a little bit better than the previous options that they had. Next, they listed that they're going to be selling their axle sets separately, fully assembled from the factory, front and rear axle sets. The axles on these are not a super advanced axle, but they're a narrow axle. So if you got like a super narrow or scale style build that you're going for, like you want to use one of the Tamiya hard bodies, then this is an option for that. It'll fit well in that type of area. So that can be something that is more difficult to find if you're specifically going down that road. TWS, their distribution can be a little bit more difficult in the States. So finding these parts may be the hardest part about this without having to pay some astronomical shipping. But check out those if you've been looking for something and just haven't been able to find it. And lastly, they showed that they've got a new style tire coming. This kind of looks like a Toyo tire to me. It's a super short guy though, 3.85 inches tall. Again, kind of going more towards that smaller body scale style look, paired with their axles and those tires. Again, if you're looking at, to me, a hard body range, short little 10-inch wheelbase or something like that, these could be a good fit for you. Something maybe you didn't know about. Check them out if you never have before. I'll put a link to the TWWS website. You can kind of browse around, see if there's anything that fits your needs. And then we get one RTR for the week. Charisma released the Bulldog, the weathered edition of their SCA 1E, the 2.1. So this is their latest spec version of the SCA 1E platform. And this has got that Bulldog body, which is like I think a Land Rover Series 2. If I'm not mistaken, I very well could be. Land Rover's not my specialty, but again, they released a kit version of the Bulldog not too long ago. This is the first time they've released it in a RTR. It's called Weathered, and it's got a little bit of patina on it. Not too much though. I believe that these are an aluminum body vehicle in the full-size world, so seeing a bunch of rust would not be appropriate. Looks like they went pretty tasteful on that side of things. Maybe the little bit of rust marking, oxidation that they do show on the body probably would be coming from fasteners, things like that. So pretty realistic as far as that seems, but not over the top. Calling it weathered, not overly done. It's more of like a matte finish version, but it does have a little bit of extra effort that was put in place to, give it that look. Again, done pretty well, it appears, if you like the look of a Land Rover Series 2. And I think I only know of like one guy who does. But that does take us to 91 RTRs. 4 Scale News updates left after this one. We're gonna need at least 2 RTRs a week to hit 100. It's not looking good. We're getting to the end of the year, and you have to imagine that most of the new releases have come out by now, as they're trying to get the holiday sales, so trying to have it out in advance. It's going to be a tight one. But that does it for this week's news topics. Today, as I'm filming this, it is Cyber Monday. None of those seem to mean as much as they did 5 years, 10 years ago, whatever it is. The sales get earlier and earlier. What the Black Friday over Cyber Monday sales actually are kind of blends all together. A lot of the deals are available until, through the holiday season. So there were still I still saw a handful of deals that were ready to be had that were not bad. I saw some good price reductions on some of the Axial stuff, some of the Horizon stuff in general. Saw some website-wide deals that happened. I saw TGH had one like that. So there was deals to be had that were limited time and pretty decent offers. But at the time of this filming, or the time you're actually watching it, those deals are going to be passed. So I'd like to know if you guys picked up on anything this Cyber Monday, Black Friday. Did you go wait in an actual line anywhere? Or did you actually, cash in on some of those online deals? I'd like to hear. But with it, that's going to do it for this week's Scale News Update. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.